Hello everyone, today we have another unboxing. This time it's Retroid Pocket 2, the second edition of the famous emulation console by Retroid. And before we start, I want to mention that this video is not sponsored by anyone. I've purchased the device normally, as you can see in the upper screen, and this is a honest review. First of all, this is a value for money device. The cost was around $88 with shipping from China. And as it was pre-ordered, they included a couple of bonuses in the package. We're gonna see them right away. The first one is the USB-C to USB adapter, this one here. But I want to focus more on the other bonus that they've sent. And this is the other cable, the HDMI to mini HDMI cable that you can see here. You can use that to connect your Retroid Pocket 2 to a capture card and capture your gameplay or stream your gameplay online, which is a very nice addition, a very nice bonus. This is the actual box of the device. Nothing too fancy, just shows the color that I have picked and also where the buttons are placed in the device. It's a typical Chinese made, let's say, box that you can find in a lot of devices coming from that country. Let's check the inside to see what is included. I'm going to remove this one, which has the actual console. They have added a tempered glass that you can use. I've seen that in other reviews, to be honest. And this is the charging cable that comes with the box. This is the manual, small, nothing fancy again, just a couple of information about the device. The Retroid Pocket 2 has a quad-core processor, 1 GB of RAM, 8 GB of internal storage that you can expand with the use of micro SDs. It has a 4000 mAh battery that provides you around 4 to 5 hours of gameplay and charge in 2.5 hours. Now moving on to the actual console, this is the typical Super Nintendo colors. I really like the setup of the device. This is why I've chosen this color theme for it. It has a very nice looking screen. It is quite heavy, especially for such a value for money device. It has a soft rubber finish, which is quite nice to the hand. The buttons and the joysticks feel quite nice. This is like the slider that you can find in Nintendo New 3DS or New 2DS XL. On the bottom it's where you can put the micro SD card, and next to it is the headphone jack. On the upper part of the device it's the LED that shows you if it's on and off, the on and off button, the volume. It has 4 shoulder buttons, which is a nice feature, the USB Type-C and the mini HDMI. When you switch it on, you are going to see the logo, and then one of the 2 available operating systems will load. This is a typical Android operating system, but it is a quite old one. It's Android 6. The company has said that they will update to Android 8, but we're expecting this firmware. It's easy to navigate. You can switch by holding the home button from mouse to typical joystick operation. And here is the available emulators and programs that it has pre-installed. A lot of emulators, MAME, an emulator for Neo Geo, for Dreamcast, RetroArch, which is quite important to have as an addition. And it also has some pre-installed fan-made games. This is one based on Metroid, and it's quite nice. You can also play it in your mobiles, and I suggest you give it a shot. This is an unofficial remake of the 1991 Game Boy game Metroid 2, but in the graphical style of Metroid Zero Mission that was out in 2004. AM2R was made by one programmer from Argentina, and the addition in the Retroid Pocket is a nice feature because after a Nintendo DMCA, it's not easy to find this game to download it. Now, as for the secondary operating system that you can use on Retroid Pocket 2, this is very easy to access it. First of all, you have to download it after you connect to the internet, and after its installation, it will add an extra icon to the menu that you can choose and reset the device, reboot the device to the new operating system. So let's go ahead and have a look at that. Now, after the typical Retroid Pocket logo, the new operating system will load, and it will load faster compared to Android. The first screen you are going to see is the language selection and the time zone that you are in, some extra information regarding the controls, and then you can go to the main screen and choose the game that you would like to load. There are some ROMs pre-installed, but you can use the available market to download more games. So we can test some games, we can have a look at some of them. We are not going to check any Super Nintendo or Game Boy games that are more easily to emulate, but we are going to start with a Dreamcast game, because Dreamcast is a bit more difficult to emulate, especially on a handheld device, and this is a Capcom game for the Dreamcast. It's the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, a beat 'em up game, and we will go straight to the action to see how it performs. Now, the graphics are great, the FPS is nice. I'm going to spare you of the sound because the sound is horrible. It's not well emulated, it's mostly noise that you're going to hear. And this is something common that you are going to see in such devices, and I want to stress that out. These devices are not made to be played as plug and play or out of the box. You have to spend time with them. You have to work on the settings in order to find the ideal ones for the emulation of every system that you want to check. I'm saying that to manage your expectations. I haven't found yet an emulation device that you can take out of the box and it will be full of ROMs and every game will perform excellent. You have to spend time, watch some tutorials, play with the settings in order to find the ideal combination to have the maximum performance. So this is Street Fighter Alpha 3. Again, on the graphical side it performs really well, no frame drops, but the sound is horrible as in the previous case. There is no input lag on the controls also. You can do every combination that you want on those beat 'em up games. And moving on, we are going to check a PlayStation 1 game to see how well Retroid Pocket 2 performs on that system. PlayStation 1 is known for its 3D graphics, so we are going to check Tekken 3, a 3D beat 'em up, to see how well Retroid Pocket 2 emulates the system. All in all, the display is quite small, but the game runs fluidly with the same sound problems, of course, but you can use the HDMI cable to play that on your screen and it will be much better. Finally, since this is a handheld device, I want to mention that you can use any of those cheap new Nintendo 2DS or 3DS cases that you can find everywhere in order to store it. It fits perfectly as I have tested it. So everyone, that was my first impression of the Retroid Pocket 2. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please thumb up and subscribe.